Hello students. In the last class we have seen the summary and the characters of this chapter, A Shot in the Dark. It is written by Saki. Saki is not the real name of the writer, it is his pen name. The real name is Hector Hugo Munro. This chapter comprises of a few characters. We already have discussed that. We'll quickly go through the ones again. Philip Sletherby, who was a politician and who wanted to get re-elected to the elections. Then was Mrs. Saltpen Jago, who was a lady of social importance in London, one of the most influenced people in county of Shropshire. Bertie, who was the second son of Mrs. Saltpen Jago, and Claude People, who was a talkative lawyer and worked for Mrs. Saltpen Jago. We'll start reading the chapter and understand it properly. A Shot in the Dark. Philip Sletherby settled himself down in an almost empty railway carriage with a pleasant feeling of starting off on an agreeable and profitable trip. Philip Sletherby, he started his journey. He sat in the railway carriage, मतलब कि वो ट्रेन के डब्बे में बैठा था, and he was feeling very happy because he knew कि वो जहाँ जा रहा है उसकी ये ट्रिप सक्सेसफुल होने वाली है and he was going to have some profit made out of it. He was bound for Brill Manor, the country residence of his new acquaintance Mrs. Saltpen Jago. He was bound for means he was going to Brill Manor. This was the residence of his new acquaintance. Acquaintance means friend. Her name was Mrs. Saltpen Jago. Honoria Saltpen Jago was a person of some social importance in London, of considerable importance and influence in the country of Yorkshire. As we already have discussed the character about Saltpen Jago, she was the lady who held some social importance in London and she had a great influence in the county of Yorkshire. Yorkshire is the place. The county of Yorkshire was of immediate personal interest to Philip Sletherby. It was held for the government in the present parliament by a gentleman who did not intend to seek re-election, and Sletherby was under serious consideration by the party managers as his possible successor. The county of Yorkshire was to have elections, and here Philip Sletherby, he was very much interested in getting elected here from this place. And his chances of getting elected were high, only the reason being there was a person, a gentleman, name is not given. This gentleman did not intend to get re-elected. He did not want to get re-elected in the elections this time, and so the party people, they suggested that Philip Sletherby was the right person who could be elected here from this county of Yorkshire. The Saltpen Jago influence was not an item which could be left out of consideration, and Philip Sletherby had been delighted at meeting Honoria at a small and friendly luncheon party, still more gratified when she had asked him down to her country house for the following Friday to Tuesday. Philip Sletherby was so happy because he was to meet Mrs. Saltpen Jago, who was one of his new friends now, and there he was to stay from Friday to Tuesday. He was obviously on approval, and if he could secure the goodwill of his hostess, he might count on the nomination as an assured thing. He knew very well that if he impresses Mrs. Saltpen Jago, winning the elections will be a sure thing for him. If he failed to find favor in her eyes, well, the local leaders would probably cool off in their early enthusiasm for him, which means that if he was unable to impress Mrs. Saltpen Jago, she will never favor Philip Sletherby, and his chances of winning elections will be less than. Among the passengers dotted about on the platform awaiting their respective trains, Sletherby spotted a club acquaintance and beckoned him up to the carriage window for a chat. While sitting in the carriage, Philip Sletherby met a person who was another acquaintance, that means someone who was a little known, and he gave him his hand to get into the carriage, and they were talking casually. "Oh, you are staying with Mrs. Saltpen Jago for the weekend, are you? I expect you'll have a good time. She has the reputation of being an excellent hostess." The person who was sitting along with Philip Sletherby in the carriage, he asked Philip Sletherby if he was staying with Mrs. Saltpen Jago for the weekend. And he also said that he was going to have a very good time because Mrs. Saltpen Jago was a very good person. She was very reputed and she was a good hostess. Hostess means a person who takes a very good care of their guests. She'll be useful to you too. If that parliamentary project, hello, you are off, goodbye. The person also says that if you impress Mrs. Saltpen Jago, your parliamentary project will be completely successful. That is, he will be favored by Mrs. Saltpen Jago. Sletherby waved goodbye to his friend, pulled up the window, and turned his attention to the magazine lying on his lap. When this friend of him, he left from the train because the train was to take off now, and when the train was to leave, the friend who came there, who met Philip Sletherby, he left from there. So Sletherby bid him goodbye, and then he took up a magazine. He took up a magazine and he started reading it. He had scarcely glanced at a couple of pages, however, when a smothered curse caused him to glance hastily at the only other occupant of the carriage. While reading the magazine, he found that there was no one else except one of the occupants of the carriage. That means there was one more traveller along with him. His travelling companion was a young man of about 22, with dark hair, fresh complexion, and the blend of smartness and disarray that is typical of a rambler. Looking at this person, Philip Sletherby, he imagined how the person could be. He just portrayed him. The physical appearance of the traveller is given, along with whom the Sletherby was travelling. He was smart. He was having dark hair. He also had fresh complexion, and he might be of the age of 22 years. He was searching furiously and ineffectually for some elusive or non-existent object. From time to time, he dug a 6-penny coin out of a waistcoat pocket and stared at it ruefully, then recommenced the futile searching operations. While looking at the traveller, Philip Sletherby saw that he was again and again searching for some money from his waistcoat pocket, and he could bring out only a 6-penny coin. Later, he again started finding money in his waistcoat pocket. A cigarette case, matchbox, key, silver pencil case, and railway ticket were turned out onto the seat beside him, but none of these articles seemed to afford him satisfaction. He cursed again rather louder than before. He found many things from his pocket. They were cigarette case, matchbox, some keys, silver pencil case, and a railway ticket. But he was still not satisfied because what he wanted he could not find, and so he was getting uneasy because he was not getting what he wanted. We'll continue the further chapter in the next session. Thank you.